been wanting to talk to this guy for a while. He's got a new book, Walking Miracle, How Faith, Positive Thinking, and Passion for Football Brought Me Back from Paralysis and Helped Me Find Purpose. It's available November 30th. You know the story, Ryan Shazier. It's sort of the greatest fear that you have watching football and playing football, that one moment to the next, without expecting it, you're the one chosen to suffer the thing that changes your life. And so Ryan joins us now, and thank you for joining us. And you have been an uplifting story since then about the ravages of the sport and about the strength that you have found in retirement to have this be your calling. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story. But I got to imagine, and maybe your positivity is such that I've got this wrong, that going around and selling a book and talking about this trauma again and again is a hard thing to keep reliving.
So one thing I know that is really hard for most people to overcome something or talk about something that's been really hard in their past. But all of us have gone through something hard in our past, and it's times that we have to bring it up, talk to people about it. So this is the life that I'm living now. I can't change it. Sometimes I fall asleep and like, man, is this a dream? But obviously it's not. And, I think the best thing to do now is to try to help people grow from what I experienced, grow from my pain instead of trying to run away from it.
Is your story a positive one? Is a dark one? How do you classify it, right? Because it's not about, it's not about just getting up on your feet and conquering something. You had part of your identity taken away. You had your life changed in an instant in a way that no one can prepare for.
To me, and you'll see this in the book for sure, but for me, you'll be able to tell. Let me say, for me, I think it's a positive one. But for everybody else, you can take what you get from it. Like if you feel like it's a dark one, you can say it's a dark one. If you think it's a positive one, you think it's a positive one. Me, I think it's a positive one. I think it's a light at the end of the tunnel. And the reason I say that, for those who think it's a dark story or, man, this sucks, to go from a superstar athlete to not playing anymore and, playing the game for 25 years. And when I say 20 years of your life, that can be dark to a lot of people, but to me, I felt like I found some of my best friends in this journey. I found more meaning to me in this journey. I was able to, humble myself a little bit. I felt like I was a pretty humble guy, but my family said it was definitely some things that they noticed that I might have not been prepared for the moment that was arising. So it was a few things that I've gone through in my life that I would say could be dark, but to me, I feel like it was more of a blessing than a curse, because it's nice to have, a lot of money and be a superstar athlete, but then also it sucks because sometimes you just don't never know who's really there for you. And for me, I was able to find out who's really there for me, who really has my back, and actually find a purpose in my life.
Okay, and I think this is the part, Stugotz, where you might get a man who doesn't do emotion to be emotional, because I can't imagine what it is like to have that taken from you and then to turn around and realize, oh, look at the people who are with me because they really love me, because it's not about all the other stuff. Now I need help with the simple stuff. I need real love, and to find purpose in that outside of what you were doing, Ryan, must be an illuminating enlightenment to realize, maybe if I can't even walk, I'm meant to walk the earth to feel these kinds of things from these people and return it.
I completely agree. It's a lot easier for people to say yes to you and you're right when you have millions of dollars in your pocket. Or are you the breadwinner? Or you're somebody that everybody wants to like. When you're in a different light, when everybody sees you down and see that you're hurting, it's a lot harder to like that type of person, or a lot harder to be kind or be on that person's side, and just to see how, the tables have turned, and to see who is still there about me, and to see who is still true, and just even to see who will still check up on me. It could be the littlest things, as before, it'll be people I'll talk to on a regular basis when I played. And then after I stopped playing, it's like I haven't heard them to this day. So like, is that a friend? So I think those type of things, but then also God allowed me to understand through this injury, I can relate with so many other people now. It's a lot of people that go through difficult times, a lot of people that go through spinal cord injuries, a lot of people that go through, life-changing events in their life. And as a national football player, as somebody that's a superstar, people just see you on TV, they think your life is almost fake. So it's kind of hard to relate with somebody. It's easy to, give money, but it's hard to understand what somebody else is going through.
Who helped you the most? Like, what was the worst of it because professional athletes don't like to be needy. They like to be self-sufficient, right? And all of a sudden that it's many things about your life changed. Football was only one of them.
Yeah. So my wife and my family definitely were the ones who helped me the most. I can't, I can't even go without saying that. But the whole Steelers organization, the NFL did a good job of just being behind my back, and my agency did a good job as well. But I really found some true friends. Like now, a lot of the guys I used to hang out with were around my age group, but a lot of the guys I hang out with now are probably around your age group. And I'm not trying to call you old. But
yeah, you are. No, but unathletic, old and unathletic, I think is what you were trying to call. But you're not with professional athletes anymore. We get it. You're with guys who look more like us.
No, but the thing is but I feel like I found true friendship in some of those guys. When you're around somebody every day, like they become your friend just based off of necessity, based off of just being around each other. Like, we'll see each other every single day. We'll be cool. And then you go into off season when everybody goes home and you don't hear each other again. And then you come back and you're friends again. It's almost like kids in school, So,
right.
but as I started going through my injury, I just started spending more time with other people, and then our kids are around the same age, and it was just things like that will allow me to be. Allow me to grow true friendships. But I'm not going to lie, I still have a lot of good friends in the NFL. Like, I do. But to me, I felt like some of the best people in my life have came after the game of football, besides my family and things like that.
But can you explain it to us, Ryan? Because you really did in a second, right? I probably have this right. His new book, Walking Miracle, How Faith, Positive Thinking, and Passion for Football Brought Me Back from Paralysis and Helped Me Find Purpose. It's available now. It's available November 30th. You went from immortal to mortal to the most mortal in a flash, right? You're a two-time Pro Bowler. You're a young man. You've made it to the height of athletic achievement, climbing over God knows what to make a profession of that very few get to make a profession out of, and in a snap that you never saw coming, right? Because everyone in football thinks they're bulletproof. It'll not happen to them.
You're very true about that.
You went from immortal to mortal in a flash. Your life changed on that field that second. The book starts with that as the centerpiece. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the one thing, like I said before, it's a lot easier for people to see you and see like, man, he's a superstar athlete. Man, his life is almost like a dream, and it pretty much almost is. When you're at the highest of the high, two-time Pro Bowler, and I felt like I could have been plenty more Pro Bowler. I could have definitely kept getting them. I definitely feel like I was on an up trajectory and not like I feel like I wasn't plateauing. So I feel for your life to change in an instant like that is very difficult. It's very, very difficult because you see and envision something, and I'm not gonna say you put all your eggs in one basket, but you definitely put a lot of eggs in the basket because like, hey, people get hurt, and I even told my wife, I was like, most likely, I hope I don't get hurt this year, but worst case scenario, if I do get hurt, I'm probably gonna have an ACL or something, and I might miss a year. Like that's the type of injuries that people think of when you get hurt. You don't think of, Bud Dupree had an ACL, Odell Beckham had an ACL, Adrian Peterson had an ACL, but all those guys were able to play again, and you think that there are injuries that will cause you not to be able to play the game of football again, but you never think it will happen to you. And then to go to that and then not be able to play again, but also not be able to walk again, it's life-changing because you go from almost having everybody depend on you to you depending on everybody. And that's not a good feeling when you definitely been on the other side of being the one that's that's always been, the head of the household, the leader, the one that has always been there for everybody else.
Ryan, this might be a dumb question, but for your wife who loves the man, not the athlete, who had to love him back to health, what do you imagine was harder, watching you on the field in that state, the fear of every family, or dealing with whatever the initial darkness had to be that you were not prepared for? There had to be a period of transition. You don't just go from that to light again, no matter how positive you are. Which one would you imagine was harder for her?
Playing football is really hard for my wife because the way I played football was a lot more reckless than a lot of guys. And I wouldn't say reckless. I just really cared about football. So I just gave all out. I just went all out all the time, and which kind of scared my wife sometimes. But I think the fact that her seeing me in the state that I was in scared her way more than me playing football, because she knew that me playing football, everything I did was everything was well calculated. Everything I did, I knew exactly what I was doing. When I made hits, I knew exactly what I was doing. When I studied film, if I was in a certain area of the field, I knew exactly where I was supposed to be at. So she knew everything was well calculated. So, I'm sorry.
Bless you.
But thank you. But when I got injured, I didn't have any understanding of what I was going through. I was scared, and my wife seen me scared before, but just never in that type of situation. I just was very dependent. So those are some of the things that I felt scared way more than me playing football.
Ryan, I am sorry because
is there a second sneeze coming? I'm wondering.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about the sneeze. Yes, I want to talk about the sneeze because the subject matter was so delicate. We wanted to immediately start making fun of you, but the story, as you're telling it, it was totally inappropriate for us to just celebrate your sneeze because that was a Pro Bowl sneeze.
No, so I have bad allergies, so I'm used to sneezing, so I kind of built all those sneezes up to one sneeze.
Yes,
so I can just.
You really held it in.
But Ryan, listen,
I was holding it in.
Ryan, we saw it on you. You held it in for 7 minutes. It was like a championship effort. We saw you were pawing at your face the entire interview.
That's why I thought there was going to be a flurry of sneezes, and there was just one.
This is what Mike Tomlin means when he says that he doesn't blink. This is what he's talking about. This guy just held a sneeze for 7 goddamn minutes. I know it's a heroic effort by you. Your face has been twitching this entire time, and you have been pawing at your face. So your pain threshold is obviously your will, Ryan. It's crazy to think about, right? Because to get where you got, took such extraordinary will, climbing over God knows what to get that good at football, where I know what I'm doing. I'm an expert. I'm precise. I'm not going to get that kind of hurt. I know what I'm doing out here while playing reckless. To go from that to as helpless as you've ever felt, correct? As needy as you've ever felt, as lacking in self-sufficiency as you've ever felt.
But I have a question for you two. You guys had to do the same thing to be where you are now. So that's how I was when it came to football. I knew I wanted to be somewhere. I knew how I wanted to be. I knew what my vision was for myself. And when it came to football, I knew I wanted to be a Hall of Famer. I knew I wanted to be a Pro Bowler. I knew I wanted to be the best inside linebacker in the game of football. I know there was Bobby Wagner. I know I was playing at the same time as Luke Kuechly. But I felt as I was progressing, I was going to be able to compete with those guys. And so I willed my way to get there, and that's the same thing I did when it came to my injury. I knew where I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to play football again. Obviously, I wasn't able to play football again, but I knew when you have really big dreams, you might not reach all your dreams, but you're going to reach some of them. And one of the biggest dreams I had was be able to play with my kids, run around with my kids, be able to walk and enjoy life. And I was able to do that. So, and that's the same type of thing that I did when it came to the NFL. I knew I wanted to be a Pro Bowler. The first few years, I wasn't able to do that because I kept getting injured. But then I ended up making it, and I knew where I wanted to get, and that's the same thing I did when it came to my injury.
Are you holding one back right now? I feel like
No,
you have
I'm
not.
not.
No. You look like okay.
You're going to segue again.
My nose is itching. But I'm not.
We're going to slalom course from this to difficult subject matter again and again between the sneeze. You're going to ask him a hard question?
I'm going to ask him a hard question. Right, because I'm just wondering. I think a lot of people are wondering what that moment is like. So can you do your best to kind of put us in that moment and tell us what it is that you were thinking and feeling, I guess?
This is the part that I imagine is hard to revisit again and again in doing a book tour and selling a book, Ryan. You know, this is the part that I imagine being the hard part of the story.
So this is what's crazy that people gonna find out in the book is that in the moment that I got hurt, I wasn't even thinking about like, oh man, I can't walk again. I had bought my wife a dog the day before. And I bought my wife a dog the day before and it was flying in. Like they were flying in from Indiana to Pennsylvania the next morning. So like my whole thought was like, man, I'm hurt. This isn't as bad as I think it is. Like, who the hell's gonna get my goddamn dog in the morning? You know, and that was my biggest, like that was my first thought. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm hurt. I'm gonna get better. It's an injury, whatever. I'm gonna figure it out. And all right, who's gonna get my dog in the morning? Because right now I can't drive to get it. You know, that was kind of my like. I'm a real positive guy, so I always thought of. It might seem crazy to think of something like that, but that was kind of my thoughts when I was dealing with it. And then I just kept asking the doctor, "Hey, how soon will I be able to play again? Would I be able to play at the end of this year? Would I be able to play in the playoffs?"
So still bulletproof, still feeling even as you can't move. What couldn't you move? And you're still thinking, but I'm still bulletproof. I'll be fine. This is just something that happens.
Yeah, it was pretty much. Yeah, I couldn't move my legs at the time, and as a football player, you have stingers, especially defensive players. You know what a stinger is. And I just thought it was somewhat of a stinger. And then when I was in the hospital for about like 2 weeks, then I started to be like, oh yeah, all right, I understand. Like this is a way worse injury than I ever imagined it to be.
We love your coach. I think most people, your former coach. I think most people love your coach, Mike Tomlin. I imagine him to be still a very big part of your life, a guy who checks in on you every single day, who cares about you in a way that few other people do.
Every single day. That's putting a lot of pressure on Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin is super passionate,
every
man.
Single day.
Tomlin loves Ryan, man.
Nah, he's super passionate. I'm not gonna say he checks on me every single day, but but we definitely talk. We definitely talk. If I hit him up, he'll hit me back immediately. I go visit the facility whenever I get a chance. So yeah, but he definitely checks up on me. I talk to him. I talk to Mr. Rooney. I talk to a lot of. The one thing about me is that I'm a people person. I like to get to know people, and I got to get to know a lot of the people in the Steelers family before I even got hurt. Like the ownership team, the Rooneys, anybody else in the ownership team, the executive team. Everybody at the Steelers, I used to get really close with them, even when I was playing. So I was doing two things. I was trying to make it really hard to cut me, but also, I'm playing. But also, I just wanted to get to know people. I just like to know people, and I like to know what their job is, and I like to get to understand how they got to the level that they're at. And I just got to know everybody, and then me and Coach Tomlin continue to build a relationship from there. But even to this day, we still have a pretty good relationship.
Have you ever?
He doesn't check on me every day.
Okay, all right, my bad. Have you ever seen that man blink?
Never. He's never blinked, right? He never blinks. He never. Do you have some favorite Tomlins?
He doesn't blink. He doesn't blink around us. I'll tell you that.
Do you have any favorite Tomlin sayings? Because he has a very military approach to speaking, and his words can be funny sometimes, over serious sometimes when he's in front of a microphone.
No, so yeah, Coach Tomlin is a very serious person, but it's pretty cool. You know how like people are with like Bill Belichick. It's like when you're around him, you kind of understand. Like he's more of a human and he's more personal than he is on camera. That's exactly how Coach Tomlin is. I feel he does a good job of understanding how each person is and understanding each person's strengths and weaknesses. So when it comes to coaching them and telling somebody, hey, or he's good at this or he's good at that, he's going to use their strengths to try to build up the offense or build up the defense. But also when it comes to coaching them, if getting yelled at in front of the whole team is not the best way for you to perform, he might, talk to you behind closed doors. But some guys, if they get yelled at in front of everybody, he knows that they're such a competitor that's going to help them sell past what it needed to sell to. So I think that's one thing that he does a great job of. The thing is, I love about Coach Tomlin is that he really he puts a lot of respect on everybody we play, but he also doesn't respect them. So it's kind of funny because he'll be like, so he'll be like, for instance, and I'm just using the name. I'm just using the name because me and Aaron are pretty cool. But to me, Aaron's the best player in the NFL, Aaron Donald. So like for instance, I'm gonna use Aaron's name. So Coach will be like, we're playing the Rams today. Yeah, Aaron Donald, he's a good player. Yeah, but he's a nameless gray face. He's just like a regular dude that we're playing every single week. And it's like, you just said he's a good player, but now he's a regular guy, So it's just like, he'll let you know who's the best, but then also just like, he'll tear them down to make you feel that you're just as good as anybody else on this field because you're in the NFL. And I think that he does a good job of motivating guys like that.
Which one were you? The guy he could yell at in front of people or the guy he had to pull aside to yell at in private?
So to me, he yelled at me in front of people, but it was kind of funny because it was these situations when he was like, hey, Ryan, I'm going to talk to you to the side because it's like this is not necessary for everybody to hear. But it will be situations like I remember I had a bad game. Like I had a bad game. I was playing well. I felt like I had a decent game, but he found something in the game that I was doing bad. And so I had like 12 tackles in that game. And he was like, if Ryan keep playing like this, he's not going to be playing. Because like I had like 12 tackles, but like I was like avoiding blocks and like avoiding blockers and and I'll make a tackle, but he was like, Ryan, like I don't like how you're playing, So basically he did it in front of the whole team. And I was, I'm scratching my head like he put me on the big board. He was about to say something good. I just seen me make a play. He was like, yeah, Ryan keep doing this shit. He's not going to be playing this week. And I'm like, whoa, okay, hold up, all right.
He knew you could handle it though, right?
Yeah, he knew I could handle it. And then like from that point on, it's like he didn't have to put my name on the big board anymore if it was pretty much like obviously I'll make a mistake here or there, but after that, he didn't really put me much on the big board for bad plays.
For the audience, Ryan, the new book, again, Walking Miracle, How Faith, Positive Thinking, and Passion for Football Brought Me Back from Paralysis and Helped Me Find Purpose. It is available November 30th. Where are you on the journey to improvement, and how much improvement have you been able to enjoy and celebrate?
So I would say I'm about 85%. I'm about 85%. And the reason I would say that is because I can walk. I'm perfectly fine when it comes to walking, but I still have a bit of a limp. I can't run a 40 as fast as I used to run a 40, so, and it's just some things that I wouldn't feel comfortable doing nowadays. Like, for instance, if I was to get on before I got hurt, I was able to go skiing and things like that. I don't know if I feel comfortable on skis right now, and just like little things like that, like things that make you really like things that are really agile that you have to do. And even if you're not like an athlete, but it's still an agile type of sport like skiing or something like that, I just don't feel comfortable doing stuff like that. So I would say I'm about 85%.
Ryan, thank you for being on with us. Thank you for sharing your story with everybody.
No, thank you for having me. And I hope everybody enjoys the book. I think it can help everybody in their journey. To me, it's the biggest thing about my book is that I use all the, negativity and adversity that I've been through in my life before to help me overcome the big thing that everybody know about now. So I think everybody has that in their life. Everybody's can overcome adversity, and I just hope everybody enjoy it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, guys.
Happy holidays, man.
Happy holidays.
And no one's going to remember anything but the sneeze. It's just going to be the sneeze. They seize on these one things, and it's going to be the whole episode is just going to be titled Ryan Shazier sneezes.
No, I remember I was talking to my teammates before, and he was like, "Man, there's no such thing as somebody sneezing once." He's like, "I never heard anybody sneeze."
Never heard it.
Somebody he said, if somebody sneezes once, there's something wrong with them. And then I think that's like one of the few times I only sneezed one time before.
I got to tell you, it was a hell of a sneeze, though. Like you were really holding it in. Yeah.
You're still holding back the second one. Let's let go of the second one, Ryan. Before you get on to the
Ryan, I really don't have to sneeze.
No, I think he was holding it in so long that he let out 2 sneezes at once. Like I did. Yeah. It was a nice sneeze.
My nose is just itchy. I don't know why, but I really don't have to sneeze. But thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Appreciate it,
All right,
man.
see you guys.